Thank you, everyone, for being here and all these beautiful young children in front of us. It's such a joy to have you today to be here. And I want to take a moment to extend thankfulness also to all those people that checked in and called or texted and to make sure that Sunburst was okay. We did have a little brush fire a few days ago, and it was a big thing. But luckily, no buildings or people were injured, and so utmost gratitude for those that helped with it, and also utmost gratitude for those that checked in and offered to help in any way. That was very, very touching and kind. Thank you. So today, we are having a service, and the topic will be Recharge Your Life with the Practice of Silence. And I'll read this quote from Yogananda. Live quietly in the moment and see the beauty of all before you. As we sit here, there's a vast, eternal, sacred ocean of silence, filled with cosmic consciousness of ever new joy and bliss. It is the body of spirit. I am that I am. And this vast ocean is holding this great, expansive sphere of creation. And not only is it holding this sphere, every fiber of this creation is held in this consciousness. It is the fabric of creation that is holding this presence, and this presence is holding this fabric of creation. It is in every particle of creation, including our own bodies. Every atom of our being passing through our consciousness. Because before this great expanding sphere of creation appeared, spirit existed in a state of ever new joy and bliss, and not one thought form moved in this sacred ocean of silence. Until spirit, I am that I am, moved with the desire to create images into this vast sea of life, energy, and consciousness. And with this movement, with this vibration, Om was born, the hum of creation, the hum of silence. as these thought forms projected outward as images by the forces of divine imagination, they were spun into visible form. So all of creation is but the imagination of our divine Father and Mother. I am that I am. I wanted to read from Brother Norman an experience in this consciousness of silence. In the silence of my being, I hear the pulsating hum of your creation moving and resounding through every atom of my body. This sound is the true and faithful witness, the divine comforter. If I but listen, I can hear you. I can feel you. I can see your radiance. I know I am a being of consciousness, at times without form, beyond light. I am eternal. I am a part of you, mighty Spirit. I have entered this body. I have sought to do your will. I have sought to see your face. I have sought your love and guidance. I have sought to spread your love and light to all whom I meet. You are the mighty dreamer, dreaming all the images of all of us and all that we see, this planet, our familiar sun and other orbs in eternity. Reveal to us eternity. Yes, the eternal sea of cosmic consciousness beyond the shadow of dreams and corporal desires. Put our spirits to rest, free of desires, in your eternal body of ever-new joy and love and bliss. The great sphere of creation is your visible body, and all the images contained therein, each one of us, your children, but a dream. You are dreaming. You are each one of us. We feel you, Mother and Father Divine. We know it is true. So today we are meditating on recharging our life with the practice of silence, this sacred silence that is everywhere and in everything. More and more people today are interested in finding benefits of practicing silence. And if you're new to this practice, it may at first feel uncomfortable, especially when you are around other people who are observing silence and not talking, but observing that sacred emptiness, that space that we usually always fill with noise, distractions, words. So the quietness may feel uncomfortable at first. But as you allow that fertile space to be empty of noise, it heightens our listening and ability to be present. So we must make room for this inner quietude by emptying ourselves and allowing life to flow through us. This is the space William Blake was in when he was able to perceive these words, to see a world in a grain of sand, and a heaven in a wildflower. Hold infinity in the palm of your hand, and eternity in an hour. He was in that sacred space, that sacred silence, where he was able to receive as he listened. He was able to receive that communication from the ocean of silence. At first, it may be difficult to practice silence because the busy mind gets in the way and pulls us from one thing to do to the next, of running into the past and into the future of our thoughts. But you can practice moments of silence throughout the day, even for a few minutes, by taking mindful pauses. And you think of these times, can be right now. And it brings you to this moment of presence and listening and feeling the space around us and within us. While preparing a meal, take that moment. Or before we eat, just the pause of a moment. Or while we eat, notice, be present in that moment. And you can do this even while you talk. But find places in your daily life where you can take that pause and come home to the present moment and connect with your breath. You can find many opportunities throughout the day to take those healing moments of silence by pausing, emptying yourself, and allowing life to flow through you. By practicing these moments of silence throughout the day, it'll recharge your life force. It helps to relieve stress and definitely has a positive effect on our mental, physical, and spiritual well-being. It also helps us to create the space to be present and make good choices with our time. The gift of time, of being here. And this can be especially beneficial in helping us to find time to meditate and to avoid sensory overload with all the technology and distractions that are so available. So practicing silence can help us recharge our life force, deal with stress, empty the clutter, and keep us in the mindful present state to make good choices in our daily life. And which I'm quite sure everybody has had this opportunity of being with someone that you dearly love, be it a child, a parent, a partner, a spouse. And you know that in that silence of communication, more is said more deeply than any words could say, for it touches the core of our being in that sacred silence. We are blessed here at Sunburst to have this sanctuary for people to come to and experience the quietness of nature that is so precious. To find these places still untouched by noise. To know you could go out and listen inwardly as well as outwardly and discover and experience that nature teaches us in silence more than any words or books can give. Learning how to listen is a gift of practicing silence. Brother Norm stated, nature is the greatest of teachers. The Sufi master Hazrat Inayat Khan stated, my heart is turned to the quietness that the stillness of nature inspires. And the Buddha stated, if we could see the miracle of a single flower clearly, our whole life would change. And lastly, John Muir, nature's peace will flow into you as sunshine flows into trees. The winds will blow their own freshness into you, and the storms their energy, while cares will drop off like autumn leaves. They were all touched by spirit in nature, who spoke to their souls in silence. Throughout the centuries, almost every spiritual and religious tradition has embraced the importance of practicing silence. Be still and know that I am God in Psalms. It is in silence that we find the presence of God. A Catholic nun and Zen master, Elaine McInnes, stated, silence is the vehicle that takes us to the innermost center of our being, which is the place for all authentic practice. In Christian theology, kenosis is the act of emptying oneself to allow spirit to come in. In different spiritual traditions, this has been expressed in different ways, but saying the same meaning. For this is a silent act of humility, of letting go and letting God, that dissolves the ego and allows life, love, God to flow through you. One of the best practices of emptying oneself and recharging our life with the power of silence is through the practice of meditation. You're giving techniques of meditation that we practice until we arrive at the place of stillness, of silence. And then we put the technique aside. It's just like a vehicle. You drive it to get to your destination. And it's in that place of awareness, of presence, of silence, where you truly can listen to God as God listens to you. Paramahansa Yogananda stated, "Do your best and then relax. Through the portals of silence, the healing sun of wisdom and peace will shine upon you." So let us prepare for our meditation time together as we focus on our breath, and to help us in our technique of meditation, help calm our body, help calm our mind. You can even hum or even innerly sound the vibration of Om, the constant vibration that is keeping this whole dream of creation alive, including our own bodies. And thoughts may come up, which they do in our meditations, but let them not distract you, for they need your life force and energy to stay active and alive. So don't give them any attention. Just focus your attention and energy at the Christ center on the Om vibration until you get to that place of calm. And then listen in silence. The silence within your soul as you listen to God and as God listens to you. So let us prepare now for sitting upright, whatever is comfortable for you. To have about maybe a little bit over than 15 minutes, 20 minutes of quiet, silent time of your meditation. And to connect with your breath, connect with your technique. Keep your gaze focused. Open your heart and listen. Listen to the sound of silence. This silence is life, is love, is God, vibrating through every fabric of creation and every particle of our beings. One thing I observed when I was meditating sometime in the past, it came to me that in this time of contemplation and prayer, where you put your technique aside and you have that moment to listen to God as God listens to you. And it was a saying from Saint Teresa when she was asked how you pray. She said, I listen to God as God listens to me. And I really liked that. But what came to me one day was that in my time of contemplation, I was pretty much doing all the talking. All my prayers on my list of things that I prayed for out loud in my heart, I was stating them to Spirit, to God, to the higher power. And it came to my realization that I also needed to listen, that I needed to take the focus off of me and put the focus on the object of my meditation and listen intently and quietly in that space, in that silence, in that pure space where you can hear the songs of the universe, where you can hear the sound of silence, and where you can begin to merge into that object of your meditation. And it truly can help us remember the art of listening. I have one more quote, and it's by Thich Nhat Hanh from The Power of Quiet in a World Full of Noise. All the wonders of life are already here. They're calling you. If you can listen to them, you will be able to stop running. What you need, what we all need, is silence. Stop the noise in your mind in order for the wondrous sounds of life to be heard. Then you can begin to live your life authentically and deeply.
Let thy whisper